As we've moved further into geometry, we're now working with space. So now we're talking three-dimensional kinds of concepts for us. So these space figures are going to be 3D, if you will. So what this means is they can now hold things. So as we move forward, one of the most common types of space figures we will see is what's called, they got this word, rectangular parallelepiped. I don't know. I think I've seen the word parallel piped. Usually we just call this a box. So, or sometimes we call this a rectangular prism. So notice how in this box we have faces, which are like surfaces. So this would be like, since it's a surface, it would just have area. We have vertices. What's different here, though, is you got to be imagining that this is a box. So I don't think I can rotate this around, but notice how there's actually a back side over here. So there's a top face and a bottom face. There's a right face and a left face, and there's a front face and a back face. So notice how there's actually six faces, if you will, or six surfaces. Notice that there's, like one, two, three, four vertices here, one, two, three, four vertices in the back. There's like eight vertices. And those vertices create our corners, if you will. So we have these vertices, which are kind of part of our edges. So notice how if you connect a vertice to a vertice, that's going to create an edge. So an edge is sometimes, we'd call it a side if it was one dimension. But now, since we have three dimensions, a face is going to be our sides, if you will, now, because it's two-dimensional here now. So an edge is actually going to be more of a line segment concept. So notice how we have a bunch of edges here. So the bottom has four edges, the top has four edges, each side has four edges, the front has four edges. So we have a bunch of edges there in this. So when we get into space figures, we have the face, the vertex, and the edge are some important vocabulary. So a box is one kind of space figure, but it belongs to an important group called what we call polyhedras. A polyhedra. So the faces of which are made up of many polygons. So notice how in a box, these polygons were actually look like they're all rectangles here. So some interesting polyhedra is what's called the regular polyhedra. So a regular polyhedra means all the sides are equal, all the angles are equal. So that means all the faces are equal. So a regular polyhedra is a space figure, the faces of which are only one kind of regular polygon. So each face is the same type of polygon. So there are many different types of polyhedra. Here we're going to talk about five different, actually it says there's only five different regular polyhedra. So we have what's called a tetrahedron. Tetrahedron is composed of four equilateral triangles, each which meet each three of which meet in a point. So notice how we have these three faces, but notice how they meet in a point. So it's a tetrahedron. We also have what's called a hexahedron, which is a cube. We have an octahedron, which takes on this shape. So it looks like it has four faces on the top and four faces on the bottom. So it has eight different faces. Dodecahedron and a icosahedron. Not really sure what those are. We'd have to look those up a little bit. Okay. So for me, this looks like each face is five-sided, but I don't know how many faces it actually has. Uh, the icosahedron, it looks like the faces are triangles, but I don't know how many triangles that actually has. Got a lot going on there. So constructing a polyhedra. So what I'm suggesting you to do as an exercise is actually construct a polyhedra construction using construction paper. If you have a actual like a little knife they use in cutting, I think it's what is it called? We have a utility knife, but there's other kinds of knives there as well used in art classes. Scissors are probably not the best thing. So choose one of the above and use construction paper. Watch a YouTube video and create one of the above shapes. So in the discussion board, attach the video you used and take a picture of your shape and post. Also comment on two other posts. So this has to be done by the end of Unit 1. So keep that in mind. We're now at the very end of the unit, so this is going to be done rather quickly. So see if you can find a video out there that shows you how to construct one of these polyhedrons. My goal is I'm going to try to construct this octahedron. I think my ability is there. That's where I feel comfortable with. I don't think I have the ability to do the dodecahedron or the icosahedron. Uh, but if you feel like you've got these experiences of doing these types of things, show us making these higher level ones if you've got that ability. Okay. So again, this is all going to be posted in the discussion board. So if you have any questions, email me or text me. Okay. So for us, when we talk about 3D shapes, we're mostly going to be working with a cube. So like a die or dice, Rubik's Cube are the most common ones if we talk about cube. A rectangular prism, they also use this word cuboid. I'm not familiar with that word as much. So rectangular prism, that's that box, if you will. Uh, its faces are rectangles. A sphere, like more like a basketball or a globe, if you will. Notice that it's completely round. It doesn't have any flat faces, edges, or vertices. So this is kind of unique. The sphere is. A cylinder we're probably familiar with, like a can of juice, if you will, a Coke can, paper towel roll are some of those that look like they're like cylinders. Snowset, two of its faces are circles, and then it has this one curved face that wraps around, if you will. The cone is also very popular. So a cone usually has a circle base and then it tapers to a point. So keep that in mind. This is three-dimensional. A lot of times we make like a party hat out of paper doing this. So I've done party hats by hand. So, but there's also the ice cream cone. A pyramid can get more complex because a pyramid, the base can be triangular or the base could be square. But usually the faces themselves are triangular in there, but there could be many different faces based on what the base is, the shape of the base. Most commonly, we deal with what's called a square pyramid because that's what the Egyptians are. Egyptians are more what we call square pyramids because the base is square, so it's going to have four triangular faces. A triangular prism, it's going to have two triangular bases, and then it's going to have a bunch of rectangular side faces. So here we're talking about like a tent or some type of chocolate bar. I'm not familiar with that. So have to Google Toblerone chocolate bar. So we have the triangular prism as well. Okay. So what we're going to be dealing with as we move forward is we're going to be dealing with the cube. It's got six faces. Rectangular prism has six faces. A sphere has no faces. A cylinder has a bottom and a top, and then it's got a wraparound curved side face. A cone has a bottom and then this wrapped piece that has two faces. A pyramid can vary based on the base of the pyramid. Okay, then a triangular prism, so it's going to have five faces, like a tent. Okay, so we're going to get into the surface area of 3D shapes, but I'm going to do that in the next video. So right now, you should have a little idea of what types of 3D shapes we're talking about.